There are a lot of technical and tactical training goals during beginner learning in table tennis. So it is important to select the right goals and to bring them in the right order for a motivating training. In this video, you will watch 7 training exercises and explanations as part of a beginner learning program comprising 25 exercises in this 3-part video clip series. In this exercise, the player tries to play 10 times a topspin on a defense ball that comes with backspin, compared to a topspin that is played on a block or topspin ball. The technical focus points are: first, a backswing height to the knee; second, an incline plane that is more vertical; third, a blade angle that is more vertical; and fourth, a weight transfer that is more vertical. Because of these differences, it is important that beginners learn 2 different topspin movements that are used in 2 different situations, or according to an arriving ball with backspin instead of with topspin. This is hard for the movement control areas in the brain to program 2 similar but different movements. That's why it should be regularly practiced. During the next exercise, we go on one step by combining the 2 different topspin movements one by one. The ball comes one time with backspin and one time with topspin, and the player has to perform a topspin that is one time more vertical and one time more horizontal concerning inclined movement plane, blade angle and weight transfer. This exercise only works when the coach or training partner can control the intensity of the rotation of the ball for the beginner, so that there is not too much backspin or topspin and the beginner is not overwhelmed. As soon as the 2 different movement patterns of the topspin become more clear and safe, the intensity of rotation can be raised. This exercise 21 is the same as exercise 19, but in the backhand side. The ball comes with backspin to the player who tries to play 10 times a backhand topspin. Again, it is important that the upward movement of the backhand topspin starts below the table surface, that the incline movement plane is quite vertical and the blade angle is also quite vertical. Comparing to the forehand topspin, now it is additionally important that the player focus on the wrist movement to give the ball enough impulse. Sometimes it helps players to focus on the tip of the racket that should point to the floor at the end of the backswing and should point upwards at the end of the forward swing. Exercise 22 is the same as exercise 20, but in the backhand side. Again, the player has to distinguish between the more vertical and more horizontal execution of the incline movement plane and blade angle. In addition, one time the end of the backswing is below the table surface and one time over the table surface. And one time the tip of the racket points to the ground at the end of the backswing, and one time it points to the belly. It's important to give players motivation by a positive communication during these exercises. It's also advantageous to count to 10 to reach the quantitative exercise goal and to count on when the coach or training partner makes a mistake. During exercise 23, the players try to play 10 times forehand topspin on forehand topspin. It's good when the coach or training partner plays a slow and less spinny topspin so that the beginner has an easier situation. Because this exercise is played 2 to 3 meters behind the table from half distance, players practice anticipation, orientation and footwork sidewards, as well as forward and backwards. For beginners, it is hard to move in time to hit the ball when the ball falls down behind the table in a height that is adequate to play the topspin. The focus points during this exercise are to find the right timing, to have a good footwork just in time to find a stable body position to perform a good weight transfer from the right foot to the left foot to give the ball an additional impulse by this weight transfer. That is supported by a good turning of the hip and shoulder axis. Exercise 24 is the same as exercise 23, but with the backhand side. Because in backhand the backswing is limited by the body, it is important to use a good forearm and wrist movement to create good impulse. Especially small people should move in a way that they can hit the ball in the falling phase of the flight curve. The last exercise of this beginner learning program is the forehand smash on a high ball. Especially children and small people have usually problems to smash a high ball. Therefore, it is important to focus on the right timing to hit the ball in shoulder height, on a high backswing before hitting the ball, and on a good footwork to be able to go into the ball with a good weight transfer. Coaches or training partner can help at the beginning by playing the ball not too high. Thanks for watching, have fun during training, and please subscribe and ring the bell.